Welcome to the 100th episode of the Friday Nightmares podcast. Yes, this is very special because for those of you who have stuck with us for 100 episodes, starting back in January of 2020, before the world fell apart and rebuilt again, we made it to this point. We have changed a lot over the years, and we're really glad that you have stayed with us or joined us or hate listened. I don't know, whatever you've done, we are here for it. My name is Heather Powell. I am from Waterdown, Ontario, and I am one half of the Friday Nightmares podcasting team. And with me, as always, is
Mr. Smoke Show Crawford, coming to you from the town of Swartz Creek, in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm fully vaxxed, boosted, and waxed, and ready to climax. And if you can, please get me wet and feed me after midnight. I'm the man with the glorious beard, a.k.a. Mother of Cats, a.k.a. the man with the humongous ego, a.k.a. Scott Housen, a.k.a. Scotty Too Hottie, a.k.a. Spanky, a.k.a. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott. Hey. Hey, Scott.
And Connor's over on the other side, and I just hear him go, what the fuck?
I love it. I love it. I think we should do a podcast on how much Scott's life has changed. Like, besides me just sucking more dick over the last couple of years, that's it. Scott, on the other end, like, has a fucking family now. He has a cute little one-eyed dog named River, which basically belongs on SPCA like commercial of how you can make a difference. He has a beautiful, breathtaking fiance. And I'm really glad that I put these years in with Scott to get Erica.
Yes.
I knew that if I stuck it out long enough, something good would come my way.
I'll say you gained a Scotty, and then you gained a family.
I did. And Blaze, we can't forget about little Blaze.
Oh yeah, not my little gecko Blaze.
Right.
He's my little dragon.
Right. And Scott's dating history, which has been more horrific than some of the
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what the listeners came here for. The movies that we've talked about over the years, or my horrendous dating history for the first 3 years.
Right.
Because we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary of our show, which is fucking crazy.
Crazy.
But for the people that may have not seen my post on the Friday Nightmares page, we decided instead of doing the top 30 of 2020 to 2023 for episode 100, like our episode today, we decided to hold off because we haven't recorded since before October. And so we got a lot of 2024s to talk about, and I'm already starting to forget a lot of them. And we figured if we waited till the next episode, which will probably be in December, knowing us, we will have like 2 movies that we remember. But we decided we'll do it in January when pickings are very slim for 2025, and it also will lead into our 5-year anniversary, and we can do 2020 to 2024 films, our top 30 of that.
Yes, yes.
Which makes more sense, and it just makes it easier on us because, we crammed a lot in over this last month or so. Like I have... At least for me, I actually got 18 watches in, which is pretty good for what I was.
Those are good new numbers compared to the 200 in a month that you used to do in 2020.
Yeah. I didn't have a life back then. It was a bit different.
No. Well, and we went through a pandemic too, right? Like Scott and I literally met, hung out 3 times, pandemic, and then continued to podcast throughout all that. And as Scott's life has changed, more Scott than me. Not that, it's not because of Scott we don't record. He just has new responsibilities now with having kids in the house. That's just a reality. His life has changed. And, it becomes less rigid. And I think that's just normal with all podcasts. Like, I have such respect for podcasts like Dummies of Horror, who have been, what are they on? Episode 200 or something?
Yeah,
isn't it wild?
I think it was like 250 or something
crazy.
Yeah, and then, fucking kudos to Tim for doing an episode a day for October, like for 31 Days of Horror. Like, Jesus Christ, I would never be able to, talk by myself, I would be like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And for another, actually doing it and releasing it consistently every day, not
Yeah.
missing a beat, that is fucking impressive.
And
And I listen to
and
every
shout
one of
out
them
his
too.
wife who supports him so he can do that. Like, let's give Jaleesa her
Yeah,
props here.
huge fucking props to
Yeah,
Jaleesa.
like let's actually give it more to Jaleesa than we give to Tim because she's taking care of 3 children while he's like, I got a podcast for my 18 Patreons.
We love you, Tim.
Which is true though. But yeah, when you have people like that, or Dave C. and Christian Luciani from the Exploding Movie Heads podcast, Mark Nato, The Horror Returns, like people that have hundreds of episodes out there, and we're just a little baby podcast that made it to 100. So, Scotty, I'm glad we made it here. I'm glad that I've got to do this with you over the past 4 years. And anytime we both have thought about quitting, we're just like Brokeback Mountain minus the anal sex. We just can't quit Friday Nightmares or bad horror movies for that matter either. Uncorked films. I'm going to throw Lionsgate into that as well, since Lionsgate always comes up with the weirdest shit. And
then the indie stuff that I've been watching.
like the real indie, not indie, like Uncorked indie. We're talking like Uncorked is even like, nah, which says something, right? And just to be clear, over the past 100 episodes, Scott and I may have said things about podcasters that we know. Please know that it's all jokes. We have no idea what our podcaster fellow people vote in elections, for example, nor do we know what they do in their spare time, except for Tim. We actually know what Tim does. All he does is watch Jaws and and dress up as Leatherface. And Rob hates on horror movies.
Well, I was saying it's fair with Tim because he's got all this free time because, Luffy's the one that does all the editing and all that shit for the show. So
yeah, Luffy's a true premium professional podcaster. So if Scott and I have said something over the years, we probably have forgotten. Yes, even if it was on the episode that we just recorded. Scott and I forget. We have very short-term memories, that of fleas. I don't even remember. I made my comment about my oral sex giving after I just forgot that I gave this podcast referral to a coworker of mine. So to that coworker who's listening, I warned you. Now you're just getting the uncensored version of Heather, which is more extreme than what you've already seen in the workplace. But I did warn her. So hopefully if she's listening still, she's just like, oh, Heather. But yes, thank you everyone for being here. And I don't know, being here for the ride, whether you listen once or 100 times, it was very, or more than that, because, I guess if you count our guest spots on other shows and stuff like that.
Well, guest spots, and then also the episodes we did for Patreon that we did release on our feed as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like all the guests we had on our show. Like, so thank you for everybody that's ever joined our show, even.
Yeah, like we really appreciate it. We really, really do. This has always been a hobby for Scott and I. We don't take we joke about the premium podcasters. For anyone who doesn't know, we are joking. Neither Scott or I think we're premium, nor do we think we're professional. It's always just been a running joke.
I was saying we don't take this as seriously as others. We take this as a way to hang out and just shoot the shit about movies, and the fact that a lot of you listeners appreciate the depths that we go to find new release films and kind of take notes, that means a lot, because we're just doing this for fun, and we just watch horror movies because we're fucking nerds.
We are, and we're besties. We're family. Scott and I are family. We're actually siblings, even though our mothers are in different countries and we were raised in different countries. Doesn't matter. We are actually separated by birth, by a couple of years. So Scott's older, but but we are definitely brother and sister, and we have a very, very close relationship. So this does provide us, as Scott said, a good avenue to hang out and judge other people. But more importantly, Scott, Halloween's over, right?
Yes, the post Halloween depression happens.
No, Scott. Now, as elite horror fans, we have to get mad at the people that only watched horror movies in the month of October.
Yes,
and make sure we complain about it for the next 11 months, because God forbid anybody just enjoy horror movies in the month of October.
How dare they?
That is my biggest, that I don't hold back on. That is my biggest pet peeve about the horror community. I really do believe that. Like,
It,
people that get upset that people like to watch horror movies in October but not the rest of the year, what the fuck is wrong with you?
yeah, I'll say
Like,
it's gatekeeping.
it is for no reason.
Yeah,
Let
just
people
like
like what they like.
yep, it's like hey, the fact that they enjoy horror movies and watch them in October, awesome. Like that's great, But like you don't have to watch them all year.
I watch Christmas movies at Christmas time. I don't
Yeah,
watch them in July, and I don't care if other people do. You know, I watch
yeah.
I watch good old cannibal movies all year round. There's some people that prefer their cannibalism in like February
I mean, hell,
around that day.
I actually watched a Christmas movie in Halloween or this month of Halloween.
You did. I'm actually saving that one for Christmas because I believe in watching it for the season. I'm supporting the fellow people that watch horror movies in only in October. And I'm going to, well, actually, before I finish that thought, isn't Halloween still going on for you? Because aren't you going somewhere tonight?
Oh yeah, tonight is kind of like the last hurrah for Halloween. We are going to a Halloween party tonight,
And what
and
are you dressing up as?
I didn't want to go buy another costume, so I'm just
Yay.
I didn't have the money until after Halloween, and by that point everything's gonna be gone anyway. So I'm just gonna go as Jason Voorhees, and depending on the weather, Erica bought a camp counselor outfit to kind of do a couple's idea if the weather is good for it because it's got like
Oh.
booty shorts and everything. So it's a chilly
Oh.
day.
Well, it won't be that hot in the house later, huh, Scott?
Yeah. And what was that?
You
Connor?
turn the heat up. Sorry.
Oh, and apparently, from what Connor was just saying, her friend told her she had to dress as a slut.
I love it. I love it. I think you should turn the heat up in the house really hot for later when you guys get home. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
babe, I guess you gotta put on those booty shorts, huh?
So I said, I'm like, we're keeping these for role playing aspects later, right?
Oh, fuck yeah. I hope she keeps them. Show that big booty of hers. She's got a banging bod. She definitely should be showing it off. Remember, Scott, a year to your wedding. I still got my time.
Yes. Yeah, I'll say, 1 year till the wedding. That is, oh boy, going to be insane. Like, we already got a lot of stuff taken care of already, so it's exciting, but still got a lot to do as well.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting time. My Halloween was pretty chill this year. I got back from my trip, which feels like a million years ago. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Because I watched some movies with my good friend Mike. He's going to be so bad. Mark Iverson. Sorry, Mark. And Mark is having his third book published. It will be out in November. And when it's released, I'll talk about it on our next episode. But that is very exciting. And it's going to be about Peter Cushing.
Well, that is awesome. Congratulations, Mark.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Great.
So, right? So while I was there, him and I had the pleasure of watching a couple of horror movies together, some 2024s, and an older film that I was only able to watch there,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Jealous.
In England. So I will talk about that later, and I will share his thoughts on them as well, because he had some interesting thoughts as well that I thought I would share. So shouts out to him, and thanks as always for everyone in England. I had a fab time. I went to the Rested Ghoul Cafe, which is still running strong. The horror themed cafe. I sent Scotty a picture of the hot chocolate that I had there that was in the skull glass. It was good.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I'm jealous.
I went. It was honestly, it's one of the coolest places to go to. I recommend it to anyone who's in the Gateshead, Newcastle area. It's near the High Bridge, or High Level Bridge. Just Google the Rested Ghoul and go check it out. James and Helen are phenomenal. Thumbs up to them. They had a wedding there on Halloween, which was awesome. Not their wedding, they're married, but they had another wedding reception there.
Nice.
Yeah, and I went to Belfast, which was beautiful. Really fun. Listened to some good Irish music. Saw a bunch of cover bands. Saw a band called The Force that reminded me so much of you. They looked like a medieval theme kind of band. I'm like,
Nice.
These are Scott's people. These are definitely Scott's people. Didn't do a lot of horror related stuff, but did watch some horror movies. So we'll talk about that. Just did a lot of pubbing, drinking, and live music, which is always something that I enjoy doing. And I love being in England, and I'm looking forward to going back next year, and I'll be heading up Spain next year when I go. So
nice. That'll be great.
I'll be really annoying about that as well as we get closer.
Oh, I know. I'm already prepared.
Oh, wait, one thing I'll add before we get into the movies. I did go to the place where Harry Potter was filmed. I went to Durham. And I went to the cathedral where they filmed the Quidditch scenes, and I saw where the hall where they ate was filmed.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was pretty badass. That was pretty cool. Uh, haven't really been to a movie set like that before. Like I've walked through movie sets here, but they're horror movie sets. So like not to be like they're not a big deal, but this is a major motion picture. You know, Harry Potter's pretty fucking universally known. Let me tell you, they capitalize on it in the gift shop.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
They're like, do you know where the fuck you are? Buy some shit.
Like we make money off y'all.
Right. So here's to a good Halloween that has come and gone. Scotty and I had a separate good times. He had a good work costume. I went out to a Halloween party last week as steampunk, which was great. And here's to a good party for you tonight, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll say I did 3 costumes this year, which is unusual for me. Normally it's just one and done. But I did Simon from Neebs Gaming, which only very small group people would know, but it was just something silly I threw together for a family dinner we went to. Then I dressed as the Huntsman from Snow White for work-themed Halloween day. Everybody was the 7 dwarves or Snow White, and I was the Huntsman. And then, Jason tonight.
I love it. I loved the theme work costume. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad that we got back into it, because I think the last time we did it was the wrestling costumes, and that was years ago.
I think that's the year we met.
Yeah. Yeah, because you've seen my Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah. Shit, that's a long time ago, Scott. Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow. We're so much older and wiser now. Yeah.
At least older. I don't know about wiser. At least older.
No. It's true. We're both pretty dumb because I chose to watch this film. So
oh boy.
We'll jump into it. Oh no, my computer just shut down. Oh no. Well, good thing I have my phone. Hold on. The movie's called Subservice. And I'm just going to go into Letterboxd here on my phone to read it. Oh, wait, that's The Substance, which I forgot to put in earlier, which is a by far better movie. Let me go to my list. Fucking computer. I can't believe it. It just literally stopped working. Even it was like, this movie's a piece of shit, Heather. Why did you watch this? Megan Fox is in this one. And I don't know. Megan Fox, we saw her in that one when she was married and kind of like handcuffed to the dead body. Remember her husband dies and she's stuck in this situation where she's Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. This was AI. AI's bad. All right. Subservancy. This is a 105-minute runtime. This never should have been a 105-minute runtime. It should have been a 90-minute runtime. Don't turn her on. And it's Megan Fox and she's really hot. Anyway. With his wife out sick, no one really knows what she's out sick with. Apparently she gets a heart transplant. I don't know how that even works in modern day society and how she was absolutely fine. But anyway, a struggling father brings home a lifelike AI that looks like a supermodel. Like, can you imagine if like, it'd be like Erica bringing home like, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds as like an AI model. And it's like, oh yeah, Scott. Ryan Reynolds wandering around the house.
I guess I'll go sleep on the couch.
Right? Anyway. Only to have his self-aware new help. Oh my God, what a dated term. Anyway, want everything her family has to offer, like the affection of her owner, and she'll kill to get it. I'm sure you can guess what happens in this movie. It doesn't take a rocket science to put it together. I watched this movie quite some time ago. This other person is like a woman waits in a hospital for a heart transplant. They also found that part really stupid. I'm glad they also equally wondered what was going on with that. Mike, oh my God. Matt Woods watched this movie. He gave it 3.5 stars and Dave Bailey gave it 2.5. I think that's fair from what I remember. It's your basic AI gone wonky. I did enjoy it enough for what it is. I wouldn't say it's anything overly special, so to say, but I think for a film that's capitalizing on the AI craze of, oh no, it's AI, we're all going to die, it was fine. Not needed to go out and run out and watch, but it was entertaining enough. If for some reason you haven't had enough of AI or Megan Fox, I don't know, you want to check out Megan Fox the entire movie, that's all probably worth your time as well. You can find it on Amazon, Apple, Google Play, and Hoopla. Again,
Hoopla.
this is not a need to rush out and watch, only if you want to ogle Megan Fox or you're really obsessed with AI horror gone wrong. Do I recommend this one? Now, I hope the
Okay.
next movie's yours, Scott, because I can't see anything now.
The next one is yours and is Last Straw.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, I
All
got it up on
right.
my phone.
Perfect. You're a good friend. Last Straw. This one was actually quite good. I really enjoyed this one. This is a kind of a survival isolation horror film. It's an 81-minute runtime. It knows its limit and it stays within it. A rural roadside diner becomes the host of a maniacal killing spree, leaving a young waitress to clean up the mess. After hard-headed Nancy fires the staff at her dad's diner, she decides to cover the last shift of the night and is coming back to the day is coming back to haunt her. When things begin to spiral out of control, she must fight for her life over the course of one long night. That is the best synopsis of this movie. It is isolation horror done right. There was a movie that came out, I think it was last year or the year before, about a woman being isolated in a gas station with a shooter.
Oh yeah,
It,
I
right?
never watched it, but I heard of it.
Yeah, I remember I talked about it. I think it was on Shutter. And this is a lot gorier. So if you watch that movie and you were like, kind of slow, wasn't paced too well, you're going to really like this movie because it's paced very well. It moves quick. The characters are all very affable. You can get behind the final chick. You definitely want her to make it. Some people have said she's a bad person. I don't think she's a bad person at all. I didn't get the impression that she was an antagonist or an evil person or a bitch or whatever, misogynist term someone wants to use to describe her. I just thought she was fed up with like people's bullshit and was like, fuck this shit. And I thought it was empowering. I thought the kind of twist to the film is actually quite good. And I was surprised. I'll be honest, I was
Huh?
surprised. So
Okay.
Matt Wood has given it 3.5 stars. He says something very similar for me. Though apparently he's a sucker for horror films based around diners. Same. Matt, why don't you tell us what other horror films are based around diners? I didn't know that this was a thing. Please share because I also would like to know about some diner horror films. Kate Pollock from same podcast as Matt gave it 3.5 stars. They're samesies with their score. So we're looking at, and other people, Duncan McLeish also gave it 3.5 stars. So I would give it probably 4. I enjoyed it a little bit more than they did. So I thought it was solid. I do recommend checking it out. It is available on, oh, now I lost it. Let's see here. Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, Microsoft, and Amazon. Unlike Subservancy, I would say that's not really worth a rental price. I would wait till that's free. This one here, if you like isolation and survival horror, I would recommend whatever it's going for, $5.99. I don't think this is going to be like one of those crazy $10.99 or 17 or I don't know, crazy amount for a rental. But I would say if you like isolation and survival horror, this could be for you, and I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to. I've seen this one seen this one on like the streaming services, and I was tempted to check it out, but I have not yet. So good to know. I will add this to the list and see if I can get to it sometime soon. The next one is me. I figure I'd give you a quick little break. Um, and it's a big one. Oh boy, I'm talking about Christmas during Halloween time. Oh boy. So for my birthday, Erica decided to take me to go see Terrifier 3 in theaters. And I'll read the synopsis real quick. It's got a 125-minute runtime. The tagline is, "You better not shout, you better not cry." The synopsis is, 5 years after surviving Art the Clown's Halloween massacre, Sienna and Jonathan are still struggling to rebuild their shattered lives. As the holiday season approaches, they try to embrace the Christmas spirit and leave the horrors of the past behind. But just when they think they're safe, Art returns, determined to turn their holiday cheer into a new nightmare. The festive season quickly unravels as Art unleashes his twisted brand of terror, proving that no holiday is safe. Holy shit. This movie. I mean, I've talked about it before, but like, yeah, Terrifier 2, I love them. Absolutely love Terrifier 2. And Terrifier 3 was just so damn fun. And I gotta say, they added to the story and lore of art, which was what was lacking from part two, and made a much more cohesive story this time around instead of like some like kind of ambiguous things left for you to try to figure out. They actually kind of explain some things. There's still stuff that needs to be explained, but they're definitely coming out with part four. Damien Leone has already said that. But the budget was upped because I believe the first film was around, or the second film was around 500,000 to $1 million. This one had a $2 million budget, and I have to say, let's give a fucking round of applause for this. This movie has once again done gangbusters at the theater.
Nice.
I just looked up the box office on a $2 million budget. It is now worldwide made $60 million.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot
Yeah,
of money.
and opening weekend it beat Joker Folie Deux or whatever it was, the sequel to the Joker movie, like on opening weekend, which is fucking incredible. And I follow David Howard Thornton on Facebook, and just seeing his reaction and humbleness to all this and how shocked he is and just like so just amazed at everything that's happening with him. He's just like, this is incredible, and it just makes my heart happy to see that he is skyrocketing in popularity with this character. And all right, back to the movie though. The gore, freaking awesome as hell. So there are moments where I was even cringing, and I don't cringe very often. Normally, I laugh at the gore, super gory parts and smile like an idiot. But there were even some points where I'm going, "Oh hell!" And yeah, there's I think they may have topped the bedroom scene from part two.
Really?
Yeah, there is a scene that's just like, okay, and I gotta applaud them. The effects look absolutely incredible. The acting all around is great. Like Sienna and Jonathan are once again just great characters. David Howard Thornton as art is just always a freaking hoot, just because he's so silly and fun, but also so mean. The editing was a lot better this time because obviously with part two it was 2.5 hours, where I didn't mind it and it went quickly with the second movie. There were parts where I'm going, okay, yeah, that could be cut. That could be cut. I could see where they could have trimmed it
Yeah.
down. This one, it was 2 hours. It flew by for me, and don't really see anything they could have cut from it. Like it just added to the story. Everything was just kind of building up. And yeah, this is probably my number one movie of the year.
Really?
This is way up there. I had so much fun with this, and I cannot wait to revisit it around Christmas time. Like this is a high recommend.
Well, I'm excited to hear that. Maybe myself, you, and Brandon can watch it together. It's been a long time since we've watched a movie. Maybe we'll do that. And I know it'll be a
Yeah.
second watch for you, but maybe the three of us could do that sometime.
And I think I would enjoy being the one that had the second watch and watching your guys' reaction going,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the first one. I did not like the second one as much. I found it dragged. So I am excited to see how I feel about this one.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I think you will. I'm still in the air if you will like it more than the first one, but I think you'll definitely like it more than the second one.
Well, I love the praise. Is it available to rent?
Nope, it is still in theaters, but we do have it
Wow.
at a good friend's Plex right now.
We do. So if you're Scott and I, you're VIP, but for everyone else, it's in theaters, or you're just going to have to wait.
Yep, it will. Think Damien said that it will be available right around the Christmas time to watch.
Nice. Well, that's perfect. That sounds like a good holiday watch for me. Now this one we both watched. Do you want me to bring it in, or do you want to bring it in?
Yeah, you can bring it in, and then I will hop in with my thoughts because I have some.
Oh, I know you do. So this is the remake of when was the original out? 80s? 81 or something like that?
I think it was like 1979.
Okay, so it was late 70s. So Salem's Lot 2024. Just like we had a remake of Children of the Corn that tanked. I feel like Salem's Lot was coming in hot, hoping that it could like do better. Be careful what you invite inside. Author Ben Mears returns to his child home of, how do I say this? Jerusalem?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem is what it's actually. Okay, I was like,
Yep.
that's actually what it's called. Jerusalem's lot, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a bloodthirsty vampire. Very short synopsis. In terms of ratings from other podcasters, lots of people have seen this. Tim Davis is sitting at a whopping 4.5 stars. Phil Ray's at a 2.5. Matt Wood is at 3. The Hump is at 2.5. Dave Bailey is at 3. Okay, full disclosure, never saw the original, haven't read the book. So I think that greatly changes how you view this film.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a nice, cute little horror movie. And I say cute because, even though it is quite dark, it is a little sped up. Like everything goes from bad to worse in a matter of like what feels like 20 minutes. So I thought that it was packaged pretty nicely and it put throughout a story pretty quickly. I didn't have a lot of beefs about like, oh, but this doesn't make sense now. But I think it's because I haven't seen the original, nor have I read the book. And I just went with it and was like, horror movie logic, sure. It's sitting at only 113 minutes, which is considerably shorter than I believe the miniseries was.
I think that movie was 2.5 hours, 3 hours,
Right.
somewhere around there.
So, and obviously shorter than the book. So I probably sit around a 3 star too. I enjoyed it. When characters were killed off in this, I was sad. And there were certain people that I was like, fuck. I was really rooting for them. So I was invested. But I think someone like Scott, who has read the book, might have a different perspective. So,
Yeah. So right off the bat, I will say Toby Hooper's adaptation of the book from the 70s. It gets a lot of love. A lot of people love it. And I've seen a lot of people saying it, it's comparing this movie to that. I'm not comparing that movie to that because, one, that movie back then was fine. It was not as great as everybody makes it out to be. It's a little too slow. But I'm comparing it to, the adaptation of the book. And when you do a Stephen King adaptation, character development is extremely important because that is what Stephen King is mainly known for, his descriptive details and his building of characters before the horror truly sets in. And with this movie, it just felt like a clip show of the highlights of what happens in the book without giving us the meat and potatoes of the building of the character. So it goes from 0 to 100 within the first half hour, where it needed this movie. I think it would have been good if it had about a 2-hour runtime. Like,
okay.
an extra half hour to 45 minutes to kind of give us a little more build up to the characters and what happens in the town. Because, you just don't get enough of that. And it's a shame because I love the look of the vampires. Barlow looked fucking creepy as hell. The acting I thought was decent. There were a lot of characters that I thought kind of just had that look of what I had in my head, but I just didn't care for, and it didn't affect me when any of them died or got changed or anything happened. I had no connection to them, like, besides knowing them from the book, and I'm just like, you didn't do these characters justice. There was so much more to them, and it just. But from what I read, it sounds like about an hour of this movie got cut out, like got chopped to bits.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, like for a quick, easy, just fast-paced vampire movie, sure, it's entertaining. But when it's based off of one of my top 5 Stephen King novels, and it's not that great, so I had to lower my score. I think it's down to I think I gave it a 3 out of 5, but just because it was quick and easy and entertaining. But man, I was disappointed. I wanted so much more from this.
That's fair. For me, it's probably 3 to 3.5 because again, I didn't have the context. I know about the famous scene about the vampire outside the window.
And I
thought
they did that.
Yeah, and they did it, and I thought they did it with enough change that they still played tribute to the OG without, I don't know, completely copying it. Like I did like the main protagonists, the two main protagonists. The kid and the adult, I thought they were great. Yeah, I think you're right, Scott. I think whether you are a big fan of this book or whether you've seen the OG movie will affect this experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do give it credit for probably being a better film than Children of the Corn. That came out whenever that was, last year or the year before.
Oh man, I kind of enjoyed that one.
Did you think that was better than this one? And that's fine if
No,
you do.
no, I think it's on par.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So it's available on HBO Max and Crave in Canada. So I would say watch it if you have any of those streaming services. I think it's totally worth it. At least get your own opinion about it. If you're, not a big fan of the previous, the book or the movie, maybe you'll like this or the miniseries. If you're a big fan of both, maybe you want to watch this and then judge the fuck out of it. That's fine too. Whatever you want to do, right? And the next one, do you want to bring this in? Because I know you're a big fan. Oh no, you saw this one, right?
Yep, I'll bring it in because you brought the last one.
Sounds good.
The next one we're going to talk about is VHS Beyond. It's got a 114-minute runtime. The tagline is "No Safe Space." The infinite playground of forbidden worlds and dangerous life forms offered by the sci-fi horror genre will lead to the biggest, maddest, bloodiest VHS ever. I believe this is part 7 of the VHS series, which, not even going to mention my thoughts right now, but I just say keep at it. Keep bringing us VHS sequels because anthology films are always fun to watch, and I always have at least one or two good stories out of each VHS movie. So, I am always here for VHS sequels, and I will always watch them. This one, however, was not the biggest fan of overall. For one, they kind of took the found footage aspect and threw it out the window for certain stories, and that drove me nuts. I think it was the second story with the Bollywood.
That one was a little weird.
Yeah, and they because all of a sudden there's it's not found footage, but it's a camera up in the air looking down at big old set piece, and it's that's not found footage. And there's a couple other spots where I'm going, yeah, that's not found footage either. But all in all, I think I'm trying to count how many stories. 1, 2, 3. I think there was a total of 5 or 6 stories, and I enjoyed the first one and the final one.
The first one, you didn't like the animal-based one?
That was just too weird.
My favorite.
I had a feeling it would. But you also love Tusk too, which is.
Oh my God, Tusk.
Which makes sense because it was.
Yeah.
It was directed by what's his name, Justin Long.
Oh, that makes so much. Well, what is with Justin Long and weird animal shit? But yeah, I love. This is my second favorite VHS.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just not even gonna bullshit it. I think this is close to on par with the first or the second. So VHS 2 is my favorite. This is a very, very close second. That's how much I enjoyed these stories.
Wow.
Huge
difference between the two of us.
I liked all of them, which is the Bollywood one. I agree. I do think that the theme was weird. So I watched this with Mark, and Mark's criticism of this was he's like, the theme didn't seem like, he's like, I thought it was kind of alien space shit. And then he's like, well, the animal one didn't make the most sense to kind of throw into that. He's like, that one doesn't really feel like it flowed, but he thought it was creepy. We both thought the story was good. I think, and Mark, you can correct me later when you're listening to this, I think the spaceship one, he really dug.
That one was written by Mike Flanagan too.
Oh, nice. So I liked all of them quite a bit. I thought that this to me is one of the better VHSs, better than last year's, better than the year before. I really, really enjoyed it. And I do think I am the minority. I will say that, because when I look at the reviews, Tim Gavis gave it 2.5 stars. Matt Wood gave it 3.5 stars. But I think that's all Matt knows how to give. Because I think every single movie we've talked about, Matt's given it 3.5 stars.
Well, I think he's like you and just chooses joy.
Yeah, you know what? He does
just chooses
joy. Because he's out at the pub living his best fucking life, drinking bevies, being like, you know what, Heather, cunts be cunts, and we just need to sit there and enjoy the movies. So I don't know. This to me is a 5 out of 5. I thought VHS and Beyond is exceptional. I don't think Mark would have given it a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna go that he probably would give it like a 4 out of 5. But I know he enjoyed the stories, and he doesn't see a lot of new age horror. So this was like one of the newer anthologies that he's seen, and I was telling him that there's like a series of these, so I might get him to watch them. But I obviously I'm gonna pick the ones I like, so I don't have to sit through the ones I don't. But yeah, so a little bit of different opinions here, Scott. I really loved it. This will probably be my anthology of the year, possibly in my top 10. And I don't think you're going to have it anywhere near your top 10 this year.
No, unfortunately not. Like I said, I didn't hate my time with it, but of all, I think this lands at number 4 or 5 for me in the VHS franchise.
Okay.
Like there's like none of the stories were horrible besides the one that everybody seems to love, and I hated this one.
Which one?
It is the skydiving one.
Oh, I liked that. Why did you hate
Oh,
it?
I hated the very first few minutes because all the characters were so goddamn annoying, and
Okay.
and then when they actually land, like I thought the idea was cool, but then when they land and you see the reveal of the creature, it looked like PlayStation 1 fucking graphics and just looked awful. I hated the design of that thing. It was so bad.
Yeah, I agree, but I thought I thought it played on one of people's biggest fears of why they don't want to go skydiving.
Oh yeah, like I say, I like the concept. It just was the execution was not for me.
And I felt like an added like, okay, this thing happened skydiving. Now this other thing is gonna happen. Like it was very much like how much more worse could it get kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So mixed emotions on it, but if you like anthologies, like let's be real, VHS is kind of the go-to right now for anthologies and horrors. So whether
Yeah.
you love it or hate it, you'll probably like some of them. We're looking at this being available on all the shutties, so whatever kind of form of shutter you have, as well as AMC Plus and AMC Plus Amazon. So if you're sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and yeah, I will still recommend it too. It's I gave it a 3 out of 5. Like it's still enjoyable and will probably be the best anthology movie I see, but that's not saying much this year.
I think this may be in my top 10 this year. So, it will be really
Wow.
interesting because that will be the first time a VHS because I obviously, when VHS 2 came out, we weren't doing a podcast. I wasn't ranking movies. So this may be the first time that an anthology has made it to my top 10.
Interesting.
Yes. You got to keep it spicy here on Friday Nightmares as a premium podcast, clearly. So speaking of spicy, Scott, how do you feel about Rosemary's Baby?
It's a classic.
Okay. Would you say you're a fan?
Yeah, I've only watched it once all the way through, and that was just a few years ago for the first time, and I really loved the story and thought the acting and everything was absolutely amazing. I see why it's considered a classic.
How do you feel about a prequel?
I'm all for it.
Wow, have you seen it?
I did.
Oh, and the plot thickens. We're talking about Apartment 7A, 2024. Rosemary was not the first as the tagline. A struggling young dancer finds herself drawn in by dark forces when a particular, is that what it is? I feel like I'm not reading that right. Peculiar, thank you. Well-connected older couple promises her a shot at fame. This movie is sitting at a runtime of 106 minutes. Matt Woods gave this 4 stars. Excellent. He figured out how to give more than 3.5. He's like, how do you do that on Letterboxd? And you gave it 3.5. I thought this was a really good movie. I like it more than Rosemary's Baby. Now, that being said, Rosemary's Baby came out in, was it the 60s? Late 60s?
I think it was late 60s, early 70s.
Even 70s.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah.
It was filmed for that time period. And already some of the films from that time period I find drag out for me. I even find the original Psycho drags out a little bit for me. Great films, they just drag out personally for me. So I will say, if you are like me and you enjoyed the concept of Rosemary's Baby, thought it was a great movie, but maybe it was just a tad too long because of the filming style, this is going to be a movie for you. I found this very easy to get into. I found the main character very easy to follow and root for. I thought the couple did a great job of being welcoming and creepy, which is really fucking hard to do. To come across as like the really nice people that are real fucked up. And
Mm-hmm.
the ending, chef's kiss. That is how you end a fucking horror movie. If I could have given this horror movie a standing ovation, I would have for that last 5 minutes. I rewatched it because I liked it so much. I thought it was so fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah, the way they tied it in.
Amazing. Amazing. And this main character, an excellent protagonist. Nothing but praise. Great film. Scott, what are your thoughts? Oh, never mind. Scott doesn't have any thoughts. He's chewing. He's getting ready. He's coming with those thoughts. Okay.
Was munching on some almonds there.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Erica and I watched this around I think it was when I was on my vacation because we were just like hammering out 2024s that week. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I thought the acting was really well done. I thought it tied in wonderfully with the OG. And I did think it was a little bit just kind of at some points with the story. There were parts where I just didn't feel as connected, I guess you would say. I'm trying to find the right word here, but like it didn't grab me like Rosemary's Baby did. But at the same time, for a prequel that I was going, oh god, this is gonna be terrible. I came out surprised as hell. Like
Good.
I was really impressed with how well this movie was. Like a very solid prequel to tie into Rosemary's Baby. I'm struggling to remember some bits of it because it was early on, like shortly after we recorded last time is when I watched this. So it was a while ago. But I do really like it. The scenes that stuck with me have stuck with me. And yeah, like you said, the couple being extra creepy. And I gotta say, I can't remember her name, but the woman that plays the lady of the couple does such a great impersonation of the lady from the original.
Yes.
Like, the voice and everything, she nails it.
And that's hard to do, right? When you are basically going back in time and trying to kind of bring back a character that's no longer here. I think that says a lot. Actually, it reminds me that I watched Alien Romulus, which is separate than this, and also did something similar that you talked about as well, only that was done with AI.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a little bit more authentic, I think, when you do it this way. Yeah, I think this is a must watch, honestly, for this year. I think you'll be impressed by it. I think it's a good little story. You know, whatever your feelings may be on Rosemary's Baby, I think this movie is quite enjoyable. If you have Paramount, if you pay for that subscription, it's included. So I would definitely recommend it. If not, it's available for rent on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon, and Microsoft Store. I think it's whatever the rental is. If you know, the theme of Rosemary's Baby is something that you would dig, a modernized version of that story is, I think, the best non-spoiler review I can give.
Yes.
Right. If you like that, then you'll probably dig this, and I would recommend it. And definitely if you got Paramount Plus, like, you might as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I'm also there recommending it because yeah, it's a 3.5 on Letterboxd, so it's a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 for me. Like it may be mentioned in my awards. We shall see.
Awesome. Did you watch this next one?
No, I did not. And I was going to say, I'm going to step away for a quick second, run to the bathroom. So let you talk about it if you want.
Oh, it's perfect. I can talk. That's fine.
Yep.
Finally, my time to shine.
Your time to shine, Heather.
Get the fuck out of here, Scott. No one wants to hear about you anyway. All right. So this is Heather's show now. So Matt, if you're listening, you know, maybe you could come and host with me sometime since Scott doesn't actually want to be here. Anyway, it's what's inside, just like Matt, it's what's inside of me of how I feel for you. So this is a 2024 film as well. This is actually on Netflix. So if anyone's has some subscription to Netflix, this is an opportunity for them to check this one out. Nobody is leaving the same as they came. A pre-wedding party descends into an existential nightmare when an estranged friend shows up with a mysterious suitcase. So in this film, we have a group of friends that are getting together and they play a interesting game that uses technology as a base. And it comes across on Netflix as a thriller, drama, mystery, or something like that, science fiction. We all know it's a horror film. We all do. It's just, we refuse to call certain things horror films. But this definitely is a horror based film. The movie is 103 minutes in length. What I will give it credit for here is that it does not overstay its welcome. It keeps it to a pretty decent runtime. Looking at the rankings, Matt Wood has given it 3 stars. Dave Bailey has given it 3 stars. And Matt Wood's review, let's see here. What can I read here? That's not a spoiler. I liked the concept of this fucked up and trippy. However, I don't think it went dark enough. Oh, I thought it was pretty dark, Matt. They really could have done some fucked up stuff and also had the potential to be funny if they went down that route. I think they thought they were being funny. And I do think some things were dark, but I get what you're saying. It could have been a little bit more darker. But I think for a watch on Netflix, it's actually pretty good. I will say I've watched a lot of stuff on Netflix in recently, and Netflix is starting to bring it a little bit more. And even though they kind of categorize this as a science fiction thriller drama, it is definitely a horror movie. So if you enjoy a little bit of science fiction, a little bit of friends in peril, interrelationship kind of movie, this is a movie for you. And it is available on all of the Netflix services. So even Netflix Basic, it is available there. And Scott is back with us. Welcome back, Scott.
Thanks.
And it's good because I haven't seen this next one, and that's you.
Yep, that's kind of why I was like, I'll jump in real quick here. So yeah, Erica and I watched this one. It was a Tubi movie called #Missing Couple. It's got a 93-minute runtime. I will preface this by saying it's not a Tubi original. We just found it on Tubi. But At Austin and Jana were a real #van life couple on an adventure to renovate an abandoned farm in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi. Cameras blazing, they chronicled their project on social media, but the farm was full of disturbing surprises, especially at night. Someone or something was stalking the couple. Please DM at Found Persons Report with info about their disappearance. So yeah, this is your typical found footage, social media, like influencers type movie where like typical, as I should say, low budget found footage type. It's about this couple that just gets this house and starts renovating it, and you're watching it through the camera lens of a friend who's trying to find them because they just up and disappeared. So he's showing clips on his YouTube channel of what they had uploaded, and he's trying to get to the bottom of what happened to them. So eventually he goes to the farm himself to kind of do some investigations, and it's nothing to really write home about. Like I was just like, this is just kind of just been
mediocre.
Yeah, been there, done that. But then there is a twist that happens that I did not see coming that made it stand out a little more than the rest. I will say that. To where it elevated it from being very forgettable to at least somewhat memorable. It's not great by any means, but it was an easy watch, and I don't have a lot to say about it because, like I said, been there, done that. But this twist kind of caught me off guard, so I want to give it props for that and want to talk about it there. But that's basically all there is really to it. Not a whole lot, really. Only one other person has watched it, and I'm not sure who this is, but he gave it a 3 out of 5, and I'm also sitting at like a 3 out of 5. Like it's 5.5, 6 out of 10 type deal where it's not heaped in the forgettable pile.
That's good to know. And it's on Tubi for free. So if you really like found footage and this kind of stuff, it's available there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's available. Sorry, I closed the app. It's available on Apple TV, Google Play, Tubi, Fandango, and YouTube.
Nice. Hey, there's that's good to have Tubi. We're getting a variety here. We've had Tubi, we just had a Netflix, we've had some Shudder, we've had
theater.
What is it? theater and then also like video on demand.
Yep, Paramount.
And we're going to go back to Netflix. So in 2020, a film took us by storm at the beginning of the pandemic and was really kind of scary how it came out at a timing when we were in a toilet paper shortage and there was issues with getting supplies. It was a little too close to home. Well, they came back in the ring for another swing, and I introduced to you, ladies and gentlemen, The Platform 2. After a mysterious leader imposes his law in a brutal system of vertical cells, a new arrival battles against a dubious food distribution method. This film, well, if you've seen the original Platform, you know what's happening. All right, we're not reinventing the wheel when it comes to what is happening. But this film again looks at social structure, the needs, the wants, and the have-nots. I'll be very honest, I don't know why they did the sequel. I don't think it was bad that they did this because it's explaining things a little bit more and really delving into human nature and what happens when you put humans in a restrictive system where they need to work together for survival, but also pit them against each other. And I will give a lot of credit to this film for that. It's filmed well, it's acted well, it's a very good message. I just don't know if The Platform was a movie that needed a sequel.
Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean? Unless
you're going to do something completely drastically different, I don't see the point.
You know, and I would have I would have probably been more interested in something that showed the creation of the platform. Yes. Like who thought of it and why. And again, though, this is an exceptional film. I think if you saw the first one and you were passionate about it, definitely watch this. I do really applaud the exploration that they went into here about social structures, what you will do to meet your own needs over others. Like, this is a fucking awesome film. Like, I will be very clear here. This is a really, really good film. But even for me who loves social political issues, you really got to be into this shit to watch The Platform too. Like, you're going to get more of The Platform, but supersized. So you really got to like that theme to dig this.
Gotcha.
Like Tim Davis, don't bother. You're probably not going to like this. There's other people out there that I'd be like, don't. Daniel, you may like it. You may enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, Luffy already watched it.
And did he like it?
I think he gave it like a 7 or so. He's like, it just felt like it was pointless, but he's like, it was decent.
Yeah, that's exactly the best way to put it, right? So I think that is the best way to look at this. It is on Netflix. So, you know, if you really did enjoy the first one and you want to see what they're doing, absolutely check it out and you have Netflix. If you don't, I wouldn't recommend just getting Netflix for this movie. Right? Like, and again, only watch it if you were really into you gotta have really liked the first one to get into this one, and I will leave it at that. The next one is, have you seen this next one?
No, I have not, but I know good joke to go with that. Sitting up in my room.
Yeah, because good old Brandy's in this one. And I believe this is an A24 film. I think it was. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe it was an IFC Midnight. They're all the same shit, the two of them. They're two companies that if they made a baby, it would be the most artistic, fucking pretentious shit ever that would come out. Honestly. I think it was an A24, though. The front room, all hell moves in. Everything goes to hell for newly pregnant Belinda after her mother-in-law moves in. As a diabolical guest tries to get her claws onto the child, Belinda must draw the line somewhere. This is a really entertaining film, I will be honest. I didn't know what to expect from Brandy. I didn't know what to expect from the overview of this film. I know Phil Ray gave it a 1 star, which I think is hilarious. Tim Davis gave it 3.5. I think that's very fair. I don't think it does anything overly new, but I do think the mother-in-law in this is hilarious. I'm sure she's not supposed to be hilarious. Well, at times I'm sure she's supposed to be hilarious. But the actress that played her, so let's see who's not Brandy. I'm going to assume it's Catherine Hunter. Fucking phenomenal. Like, great performance. Probably like we're talking my God. Antagonist of the Year award
Nice.
nominee, right? That's how good this mother-in-law is. She is definitely a villain you love to hate. She is fucking horrible to Brandy. Super racist,
Ooh,
super annoying, like, but so like old person racist, you know what I mean, where they're
right.
like, I don't give a shit, right? Like, you know, like you're just watching, like, I'm like, oh, it looks like family gatherings, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so funny. She just doesn't care, and Brandy just really does stand her ground and doesn't put up with bullshit like Brandy can. So the guy that's in this, the husband, is honestly interchangeable. Take him in, take him out. He doesn't fucking matter. It's her and Catherine. So Brandy and Catherine carry this film. I would say watch it. I think this is a must watch for the year. I do think that when it comes to really getting behind someone, you can get behind Brandy in this role, and I think you can, or Belinda, and I think you can really hate the mother-in-law. And I give the film credit for that. I don't think it's something that anyone's going to run around and be like, "Oh, my number one film of the year," but it might be on some people's top tens. Like, it is entertaining and it does flow, unless you're Phil Ray and it wasn't entertaining and it didn't flow, and that's absolutely fine. But I found it good enough and entertaining enough, and it is available for rent on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, Microsoft Store, Cineplex. It's sitting at a 95-minute runtime. Again, I applaud a movie for knowing the length that it needs to be. And if you like the whole kind of family dynamics go wrong and over the top horrible, a mother-in-law that's played serious, you will like this. This will be for you. If that does not sound like something that you would like, skip over it and watch something else. But props to Brandy. She did a great job in this film.
All right, yeah, that is something I'll have to probably try watching at some point because you and Tim both have given it praise now, so I'm curious. And I think Luffy also ended up watching it because of Tim and gave praise as
Nice.
well. So yeah, the next one. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
The next movie I'm going to talk about is Crackoon. With an 88-minute runtime, when a synthetically altered street drug is discarded in the woods by a drug dealer during a car chase with police, the fallout proves nothing less than horrific when an innocent raccoon eats it, transforming it into a nightmarish killing machine straight from the bowels of hell. With unsuspecting campers, tourists, and residents of a mountain community, all in close proximity to the epicenter, no one is safe from the monster's unrelenting rampage. So you know me, I I am on a mission to watch the drug-fueled animal movies. And Crackoon, I've always loved the cover of it. The cover
Yeah.
just looks ridiculous and awesome. And I watched a trailer, and obviously the cover is not exactly what the movie is, and the raccoon looked absolutely ridiculous, like a hand puppet damn near, and I was on board. I'm like, okay, this looks just stupid enough that I'm
Yep.
gonna be on board. Yeah, this was not good. The I try and even think how to begin. For one, it's one of those where obviously, yes, they're purposely trying to make a so bad it's good movie, and most of the time when you try to make a so bad it's good movie, you fail at that aspect and make a so bad it's bad movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because the actors are in on the joke, and the acting is not good.
Mm.
The story drags on for way too long. Lingering shots of nude women, like long, uncomfortable, lingering shots. Like, am I
Mm.
watching a porn, like Skinemax movie or what? What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all around, this was just not good.
I can't tell how many times you've said it's not good. You're like, it's not good. It's just not
Yeah,
good.
it the only redeeming quality is the raccoon puppet and the really low budget gore, but this was just so hard to sit through. I
and,
tried, but it was so hard to sit through.
and that happens, right? And anyway, we're watching this for Slumber Party Massacre because one of my co-hosts is in this
Started it.
film. And to support her, right? And you
Yeah.
know,
That's why
it's
I watched it too, is I wanted to
right.
support her. But yeah, I just
And
was
you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? These are pet projects, no different than our podcast. It's just people doing having fun. So
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, I'm not bashed. Like, I mean, yeah, the acting wasn't good, but I also expect the acting not to be good, so I'm not
Yeah.
like bashing it.
Oh yeah, I don't think you're bashing it at all. I think you're just being real for people that watch it because it's like listening to us, right? We're not we're not Joe Bob Briggs, right? So like
Yeah,
if you want something that's really polished, there's even like the Rotten Round Table's more polished than we are, right? Like there's certain podcasts, for example, that are more polished than others. Same with movies. This
yeah,
is a true indie film,
yep. There'll be some
right?
that love it and some that it just doesn't work, and I'm one of those where it didn't work.
Yep.
And same with another person that I expected to watch it and wasn't sure what he'd think, but good old Rob Humphreys from Slasher Radio, he rated it, I think, the exact same rating I gave it of 2 out of 5. Like,
Oh wow.
and I know he's like me. He watches these silly, low budget, drug fueled animal movies and other like low budget stuff like this. And yeah, he wasn't. Didn't seem like he was a fan either.
Well, you know what? They brought it, and that's all one can do. And where did you find it? Was it on Tubi?
Actually, yeah, though this one actually no, it's exclusive on Screambox. Or originally was exclusive on Screambox and is now on Amazon, Apple TV, Google Play, and YouTube.
Okay, well there you go. If anyone wants to support some indie. This next one I actually thought was really funny. I, I didn't really get time with this movie. I thought it was really funny.
Yes.
This movie's called Mr. Crockett, and it's your kid's best friend and your worst nightmare. A single mother thinks she found the key to calming her child, a VHS copy. So this takes place in the early 90s of a strange children's program named Mr. Crockett's World. However, a darker, bloodier secret waits to invade their home from the inside the tape. This is a Hulu film,
Yep.
right?
Halloween.
Halloween. I'm gonna be real. I thought this was fucking jokes. There's a couple of lines I just want to say. One was when one of the mothers get asked if maybe kids are better being raised by Mr. Crockett. Our main character goes, "Fuck no." I thought that was really funny. I ain't no rating rainbow motherfucker. I thought was really funny. I really enjoyed this film. It kind of felt like the opening scene kind of reminded me of something I would see in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 or 4, with what happens at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got that vibe at all. Like I felt
Oh,
like
this whole movie gave me Nightmare on Elm Street vibes.
right. But it was like it knew it was silly and it didn't take itself overly seriously.
Yeah.
This is such a simple, digestible film. We're not talking about any award-winning films here. It sits at an 88-minute runtime. Dave Bailey gave it 3 stars. You gave it 3.5. Tim gave it 3.5. Duncan gave it 3.5. I'm sitting at a 3.5 too. It's just fucking fun. Like it's just fucking fun. It's predictable as shit. It's not hard to kind of put together, even the twist. It's not. But fuck is it fun. It's so
Yeah,
fun. I don't know, Scotty, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree. This was just a all-around fun film. The guy that plays Mr. Crockett does such a good job of being super friendly and happy, but also creepy and menacing. But
Right?
it's like, and he's got like the one-liners like Freddy Krueger. He
Oh
haunts
man.
you like Freddy Krueger does. Obviously not through the dreams, but like he has that
Yeah.
supernatural aspect to him, like Freddy Krueger does. Um, and the main character's kid, is so over the top asshole-ish. Like
Right?
I was like, go ahead, Crockett, take that child, take it away from her, because it's a
Yeah.
little shithead kid. But yeah, I just had fun with this. It's obviously not blowing my mind or like one of the greatest films ever made, but it was perfect, easy, fun Halloween watch for the Halloween stuff that they do.
And like even though there is some swearing in this and some like deep like some scary scenes, I think if you had a preteen or like maybe your kids or like Tim Davis's kids would probably love this movie. They would think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Like know your kid, but I think this is a great introductory horror movie for kids. Like I think it is fucking, I don't know, it just ticks all the boxes for a good time fun watch. It may be in my rank for comedy, horror comedy of the year, because I did find it really fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie, the one liners that he said, I laughed out loud. I thought they were really funny. Like, there's an opening scene at a dinner table with this like really piece of shit stepdad, and I found everything he would say it really funny. Like, I don't know. In the reading, I'm not a reading rainbow or whatever it is, motherfucker. Whatever.
Mhm.
I thought it was really funny. Like, I don't know. I don't. Whoever wrote that in the script basically winked at every single millennial,
Oh
and I
yeah.
loved it. I fucking loved it. And I don't know. This is just a fun, good time film. It's available on Disney Plus and Hulu, and I don't know, man. Sign up for a trial subscription if you haven't for one of those to watch it, because it's definitely like it's worth it. It's such a fun time, good time watch.
Yeah. It's like just something you can just turn your brain off and enjoy.
Yeah, right. Like sometimes life doesn't need to be about serious horror movies, like the one I'm going to talk about
Yeah.
next.
I haven't watched this one, but yeah.
I don't understand why they named it this.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I
the
feel
title is boy.
dirty even saying the name, but the name is Daddy's Head.
Yeah, it
Um, fuck's sakes. Family is everything. A boy and his stepmom fear for their safety after an eerie creature resembling the boy's recently deceased father visits them. This is a movie about family dynamics and grief. This is a metaphor movie for grief. So if you like metaphors that play out through creatures, then you will like this movie. I thought that it was well done, well written. You know, it had a decent enough plot line. But this was a movie that I was like, it's slow. It takes a lot to get going. There's a lot of like, you hate the decisions that some of the characters make.
is.
Even though they do make sense when you think about grief, they make a lot of sense. But this movie is a metaphor for grief. Just like when we had that blood movie that came out last year, it was a metaphor for addiction. This is like rinse and repeat now metaphor for grief. So if you enjoy your metaphoric movies that are, you know, with a creature feature, I think you will dig this. Most people have given it a 3-star rating. Tim and Matt Wood have both given it 3 stars. I think that's fair. I probably sat around 3 stars too, because I do think it's a quality film. And again, I give Shudder credit because this is a unique horror film. Like when you're on Shudder, you're not a basic bitch horror fan. You know, Mr. Crockett is like fun times. Like I would show that to my friends and they'd be like, oh, fuck, this is hilarious. And it's easy to watch. Something like this film does inquire a lot more attention. It does kind of, you know, speak to the horror fans that want to dig a little deeper into their horror. And I give Shudder credit for that, like completely. They always
Right.
bring something that's different, something that's new, but it may not be for everyone. That being said, if you have the Shuddy, you may want to check it out if what I said sounds of interest to you. So it's on all the Shudders and also including on all the AMC options. So if you have the subscription, check it out.
Yeah, because this one I watched the trailer and I'm going, all right, the little tease of the creature looks really creepy. Definitely a metaphor for grief. I can already see that from the trailer. I'm not sure if this is one I'm gonna bother with or not. I haven't decided.
I don't think you need to rush out and watch it, Scott. I don't think it's going to be in your top 10, but if you get around to it, like you got well, you don't have a lot of time, but if there's a night where the kids are out and they're at the grandparents or something and you guys want to just cram out, I would say it's quality. But I wouldn't say it's a must watch for this year.
Right. All right. Well, speaking of must watches, though, let's jump onto this one.
Yes.
The next one we're going to talk about is The Substance, coming in with a 141-minute runtime. If you follow the instructions, what could go wrong? A fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. So yeah, speaking of metaphors, this is obviously like a metaphor for especially women definitely in like the fame industry, whether it be like Hollywood influencer, stuff like that, about fear of aging and losing and they're like basically losing the looks or your looks are fading as you age, at least through the eyes of producers and stuff like that. And maybe even seeing that through your own eyes as a woman. I can like I'm not obviously not a woman, so I can't attest, but I'm that's kind of the message I got here. But I have to say, for one, it was amazing to see Demi Moore back because I don't remember the last time I seen her in a movie, and she does such a fucking fantastic job in this. Like she just nails her role, and like she's just such a great actress. And I can't remember her younger version's name. Let me look that up real quick. Margaret Qualley. She also does such a freaking amazing job. Um, but yeah, this is basically just a what would you do scenario to kind of keep your looks, and this substance creates a younger version of yourself that comes out of your body but has to go back within 7 days. And it's a very interesting story and very body horror.
Yeah, if you didn't know, you'd be like, a Cronenberg made this.
Yeah.
Like, that would be
Yeah.
your first assumption, right?
Yeah, because for one, this movie is, I will give a heads up, this movie has not shy at all about nudity.
Mm-hmm.
Shows everything.
Mhm.
And definitely not shy about showing uncomfortable aging and fucked up body horror by the end.
Yeah. Like we're talking special
I'm-
effects, makeup. This movie is up for an Academy, from what I understand.
Oh, nice.
Demi Moore is for her performance in
Fuck
this.
yeah.
Though they call it a fucking thriller because the cowards can't call it a horror movie.
Of fucking course.
But or science fiction is probably what we'll call it, which it is, but it's also a horror film. I think
Especially that third act.
This is a top 5 contender of the year. This will be people's number 1. This will be people's number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Like it's or I don't know, maybe people hate it, but this movie is fucking body horror done right. Body horror and talking about image in society done right.
Yes, 100%. And
right?
like, because I was talking with Tim Davis about it, and like I was like, "You fucking love this movie. It was amazing. Love the story and everything." And he had some plot holes, and he ended up doing a spoiler review about it on his show, Dummies of Horror. Plug, plug, plug. But I see the plot holes that he pointed out, and I'm going, yeah, but I think I was able to just easily overlook those. Because even he said he was easily able to overlook them and just enjoy the movie. And I'm like, yeah, those were not plot holes to me. Those were just like questions I had.
Yeah, and I think also the concept is so out there. It's like Infinity Pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that you kind of go, this isn't really based in reality. It's taking a social concept and putting body horror to it. But it's the performances. It's everything, how it was directed, the makeup, the flow, side characters that provided comic relief when needed. You know, this is a fucking solid film. This is how you make a good horror sci-fi movie. Hands down.
100%.
Hands down, right? Can't believe a Cronenberg didn't make it. That's the only thing that I'm shocked about this, to be honest with you.
Who was the director? Coralie Fargiat.
Nice.
So a woman director. Awesome. Oh, she did not my favorite movie, but she did that movie Revenge.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But yeah, this was definitely a much better film than Revenge for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think this is a movie. I don't think Revenge was in a lot of people's top 5s. This, this will be on every horror list, guaranteed at the end of the year. If not, like number 10, it will be somewhere.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, this one is a high recommend. Where is it available? Let's see.
Probably available to rent everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's Mubi, which I have no idea what Mubi is. Apple TV, Amazon Video, and Fandango at home.
There you go. So it's worth it. You know what? Premium movie from a premium podcast.
Damn straight.
A not so premium movie, and I knew we were in bad for this because there was a lot of promotion of it, and that usually means it's not so great. Never Let Go.
Don't worry, I won't.
2024. One touch is all it takes as an evil takes over the world beyond their front door step. One touch in this movie will bore you. The only protection for a mother and her twin sons is they're not twins anyway, that's fine. their house and their family. Sorry, the only protection for a mother and her twin sons is their house and their family protective bond. Alexander Aja directed this film.
Which had me excited, and then I started hearing people's thoughts.
Here's the thing. If you have never seen a horror movie before in your life, or you're a mediocre horror fan, you like maybe have watched a couple, you're probably going to enjoy this film and think the concept's really unique and different. If you're listening to this podcast and you watched a fair amount of horror movies in your time, you're probably going to find this story quite repetitive. It deals with mental health. It deals with supernatural. It deals with family dynamics of isolation horror, and it has a dog.
And it has a dog.
And it's fine. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad film. Like, I'm not going to sit here and rip it apart and say that it's bad or it's not good. It's actually paced well. The plot builds on each other well. The three main actors in this are good. The concept of what's happening around them is well done. It's just, if you've watched a lot of horror movies in your time, and I mean like watched a variety, you're going to find this average. Tim gave it 3 stars. Rob the Hump gave it 2.5. I think that's fair. This is not a bad movie, but it's very much all been done before. Acting's good. It's at 101-minute runtime. If you go into this within the first 5 minutes, you're going to be like, I've seen this and I can probably predict how it will end.
Yeah.
Right. But if you have somebody maybe in your life who, doesn't watch a lot of horror movies, it will be entertaining for you and for them to watch it together. That's my best suggestion. So if what I said sounds interesting to you, it is available on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, YouTube, and Cineplex in Canada, if that is something you would like to do. Now, I cannot wait, Scott, because I have refused to watch this movie. Now, I did hear from my friends James and Helen of the Rested Ghoul Cafe in Gateshead, England, that they liked this and they liked the ending. So I am really excited. They have not seen the original.
Okay, that will.
So I am excited to hear what you have to say.
All right. So I decided to watch the Speak No Evil American remake of the, if I remember correctly, Danish film that was on Shudder. So I'll read the synopsis real quick. When an American family, of course, is invited to spend the weekend at the idyllic country estate of a charming British family they're befriended on vacation, what begins as a dream holiday soon warps into a snarled psychological nightmare. And it's got a runtime of 1 hour and 10 minutes and stars James McAvoy and Mackenzie Davis. And that's all the really truly recognizable faces. I think there's some others, but those are the 2 main ones. Did you like the Danish original film, Heather?
Oh, I did. It was in my top 10.
Then you are going to be annoyed about this one.
I was annoyed by the trailer.
Because, yeah, I was. Well, like the one thing about Speak No Evil is it's a movie that frustrates and angers you so much because you just the couple is just too nice and they do not fight back like they should, and it frustrates the hell out of you. In this one, it's kind of the same thing with the whole couple not wanting to really fight back and trying to just be polite. But
they're Americans and no one actually buys that.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're American, but also they do fight back by the end, and you get a happy ending that just completely defeats the purpose of what the original film was trying to say. And a lot of parts where it was just like that safe Americanized version of a movie. And if you are a fan of the original, it's kind of a just roll your eyes, slap in the face, like, of course you would do this, America. Of course you would do this American remake of a foreign film that actually has the balls to do something. You don't have the balls to do it. The only really good thing I will say about this movie is James McAvoy's performance as the villain husband. He is fucking does such a good job.
Yeah, he looks like the highlight of this film. I'm not gonna lie.
100%. Like he
Okay.
does amazing. It's kind of worth it to watch his performance, but it's gonna where the original movie frustrated you because it made you feel frustrated. The American version is gonna frustrate you because of being too chicken shit, just like the couple, to pull the punches.
Okay, that's fair. So I guess if you've seen the original and you really liked it, maybe skip this one.
Yeah, you're not
Okay.
gonna like it, I don't think.
Okay. And if you haven't seen the original and you like happy endings, watch this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's it available? Is it
Um,
still on demand?
let's see. I think it's still just on demand because it was theatrical release originally. So yeah, it's available on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, YouTube, and yep, that's it.
You know, it's funny. I when I was in England, I saw that it was playing there, and I just was like, and usually like we would go see a horror movie. I was like, no, I can't justify paying money for this. Like, I can't. Like, I just the original's just so good. I no. Already
Yeah.
from the trailers, I'm mad. I don't want to force myself. So I'm glad that you did the dirty work for me. Thank you.
Yeah, because Erica was having a good time watching me because I'm just going, you fucking chicken shit American remake, not even gonna do this.
I
I was
know,
so
right?
pissed.
Well, the first one's just so fucking the original's just so classic. But you know what? That happens, right? Like you
Yeah,
can't always. Sometimes, and that's fine. If there's people out there that like it, hey man, rock on. We're not criticizing. Enjoy what you enjoy. Do you? But it's just for me. I think the original just has such character to it.
yeah.
That unless you're going to kind of follow that same plot line, I don't know. I have a hard time. But
Yep,
hey, to each their own.
I think you would be frustrated as hell.
Yeah, I know I would be actually. So we'll move on to another Netflix film. So Netflix is really like, I don't know, they just like had movie babies this month. They just decided to release everything. So
Like this is they're like, hey, it's October. This is when we'll release our horror.
yeah, which is smart. Good job on you, Netflix. So
Yeah.
Outside is a 2024 film. You can't keep out what's already inside. A family retreats to an isolated farm during a zombie outbreak, but years of painful secret takes their toll as they navigate a desolated world. All right. If you are looking for what real emotions come out during a zombie outbreak, this movie's for you. This movie is not so much a focus on the zombies, but more of a focus of family dynamics. I do think you should watch this. Great news, it's on Netflix, so you can watch the dub version, and I don't think it's going to take away from it. But I do think the family dynamics of this movie makes it worth watching.
Okay.
Tim Davis gave it a 3 stars. Not a lot of other people have watched it yet. It's something different where the last movie I talked about, Never Let Go, is something we've seen before. This is zombies done differently, and it's a different focus. It is an international film, but because it's on Netflix, it is dubbed. So if you're doing other things or you just prefer not reading subtitles, you can watch it dubbed. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. This might be my favorite film that's come out on Netflix this year. I think
Oh, nice.
I don't think it'll be in my top 10, but when I think about our awards and I think about something that is different that stands out, and Netflix has always been known for bringing really good international films,
Right.
and this is no exception. So I'm not going to give away too much on it. I will just say if you want to think about how a family that's already maybe having interrelationship issues with their marriage, their kids, secrets that come out that could conflict, and choices that people make when they're in that situation, like you got no other option, it's a really good examination of that. So if you have Netflix, I do recommend it, and it's called Outside.
All right. Good to know.
And
I was
then I'll
like,
do the next one, right? Because you haven't seen that one, right?
yep.
So this one I kind of watched on a whim because I saw it, and I do like the whole social media horror, and this is what this one is. I'm having actually a hard time opening it on my laptop. Here we go. So CTRL. This is a South Asian film. The the tagline is, you think you're in control of your life, think again. Nellie and Joe are the perfect influencer couple, but when he cheats on her, she turns to an AI app to erase him from her life until it takes control. This is very light on the horror. It's definitely more of a thriller slash mystery, but it has that kind of social media horror to it. I enjoyed it. I thought the whole kind of play upon, if you could get an app that could erase somebody from your life, what would that look like? And it's not supernatural. Like, this isn't a supernatural thing. It's more of a, what happens when you try to erase a digital footstep and it goes into your real life. It's not going to be for everybody. It's a lot of plot development. It's a very much South Asian based, but I thought it was interesting. So if you like really a lot of relationship, social media stuff, this will be for you. If not, skip it. It is very, very light on the horror, probably more of a thriller slash mystery slash drama. But I thought the main young lady, Anna Panday, was quite good. She had some really good lines that made me chuckle, and some things that made me be like, fuck, that's a good point to think about. And what happens to her is probably pretty accurate of what would happen to someone in a situation like this. So I
Okay.
thought that was well done. Again, not a must watch, but if you're looking for something a little different about social media, and what apps can do, I would recommend this one here.
All right, good to know. I'll definitely have to look for this one then. So yeah, I guess the next one you have not seen.
Nope, I'm actually just started it though.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the movie I'm going to talk about is Azrael, directed by E.L. Katz. Runtime of 86 minutes. Many years after the rapture, among the survivors, some are driven to renounce their sin of speech. In a world where no one speaks, a devout female hunts down a young woman who has escaped her imprisonment. Recaptured by its ruthless leaders, Azrael is due to be sacrificed to pacify an ancient evil deep within the surrounding wilderness. So this is basically like a quiet place in a way where they just there's no dialogue besides one person, which I believe has like about a minute or two scene where he's speaking, but I think it's in Spanish and there's no subtitles. But the star Samara Weaving, and very interesting concept. And
Hmm.
um, I will say that kind of frustrating in a way with where the story goes with the character decisions made by Azrael. Um, but the performance alone by Samara Weaving makes this extremely memorable because, for one, for not being able to speak, you got to be very expressive through looks and your eyes and whatnot. And Samara Weaving does such a freaking awesome job of showing what she's feeling, how she's feeling, and what she's seeing through her eyes and her facial expressions. And like it's incredible because like she's always had
Hmm.
that like the very iconic facial expressions like throughout the movies she's been in before. But this, like, that's all you have to go off of is her facial expressions, and she fucking nails it. And it's definitely got some good gore, some good creepy moments. There was something missing from it, and I think it's more just like the character decisions and a little more explanation besides just what was done in the synopsis.
That's fair.
That's all I can think of really because it still stands out. Still, I thought it was really good. Like I gave it a 7 out of 10, 3.5
Nice.
out of 5. Like still definitely worth a watch. Like I say, especially for Azrael's performance or Samara Weaving's performance alone. I believe Craig Wooten was the one that recommended it to you and I on our page. Like he said, this was a really good one that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
And I think this will have varying effects depending on who's watching it. Because, yeah, I'm seeing everything from 2 stars to 4.5 stars.
Sounds about right. It sounds like very much a personal preference film. I'll have to see how I go. I so far what you've described is what I'm seeing. I'm about 20 minutes in.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, this is available to stream on AMC Plus. Then it's available to buy on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, and Fandango.
Awesome.
But I'd say it's definitely worth a watch.
Awesome. Well, it's good. Good that we got some good ones we're bringing out. So with the
Right.
Halloween season, Hula came out with another one, Carved, which is
Oy.
ripe for revenge. on Halloween 1993, the 90s are now becoming like the throwback, right? 2 years after a deadly nuclear spill, the staff of a historical pioneer village attraction must work together to survive the attack of a monstrous killer pumpkins on the set of on pumpkins set on revenge. If you like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or any kind of vegetable or fruit coming to life and causing drama, you're going to like this movie. It's a very, very simple concept. Killer pumpkins. We don't get more simplistic than that. I found it entertaining. I think I found it a little bit more entertaining than Scotty did. I thought the runtime was fine. I do think they kind of dragged out the third act a little bit. But there was enough comical things in it. It sets up like your typical fall fair, history of the town, pumpkins come for revenge, and here we go again. Great for kids if you're looking at getting kids into horror. A simple watch. It's sitting at like a, what is it here? A 94-minute runtime. What you see is what you get here, people. It's about fucking pumpkins coming to life. Scotty, anything you want to add or your thoughts?
Yeah. This movie blew its load right in the first 20 minutes and then became a chore to watch after that for me.
Aw, it's too
Like,
bad.
the setup for what was going on and then Pumpkin Massacre, that should have been left for like the third act and built up some character development beforehand. But no, they blew that all within the first like 20 to 30 minutes and then just stumbled after that. Like, I didn't like any of the characters, just couldn't care less. And I was starting to play on my phone more and more and more as it kept going. And I'm going, oh my God, will this movie end already? Like, it's been going forever now. This should have been like 20 minutes shorter. Like, I just was not a fan of this one. I originally gave it a 3-star, but it's sat with me, it's down to 2-star. Like, it just,
Oh, that's too bad. Still at a 3-star for me. I had a fun enough time with it, but I do think it drags a little bit. I agree.
yeah. Like I say, if they would have just built up characters and kind of gave us some horror throughout and then the big event at the end, that would have been fucking awesome. But it just, like, they blew it all in the beginning and then just didn't know where to go from there is what it felt like.
And that's fair. It's a fair criticism.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but it has the reporter in this was Mr. Crockett.
Oh yeah, shit. I didn't realize that. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was funny.
so he was in 2 Halloween movies.
Halloween, huh? Well, this is available on Hulu and Disney Plus if anyone wants to check it out. We've kind of passed the season, but I don't know. If you got kids at home, they may enjoy this. I liked it a little more, Scott, but I agree. Like a two-star to 3-star rating is where most people will probably fall in this one.
Yeah.
The next one oh. So this movie had a lot of potential to be a really interesting film, and it kind of just got weird. It was something really different, and then it got odd. This is called Ghost Game 2024. A daring couple's internet challenge turns deadly as they trespass into a haunted house, facing sinister evil lurking within its walls. As part of an internet challenge to live undetected in a stranger's home, a daring couple targets an infamous haunted house and endures a series of chilling incidences as they witness a family descend into madness. So basically, they break into a home, and this family moves in, and the home's haunted. So they watch these ghosts fuck with this family, and chaos occurs. It's a Dread Central film. It's interesting. I'll give it this. The concept is very interesting and different. It's definitely something that I haven't seen before, so I give it credit for that. Matt Woods gave it 2.5 stars. I wonder what he wrote. I'm curious. Fright Fest film number 2. Interesting concept, yet for me it felt like a bit of a jumbled mess. Yeah, I would agree. Like there were loads of ideas thrown together and some of the decisions in the film didn't make any sense. It's not the worst thing I've seen this year. No, that would be me, Matt. That would be the worst thing you've seen this year. And I won't read the rating because it's a spoiler, but yeah, I think he sums it up really well. I will give them credit. This was something different, but it does seem jumbled, and maybe they should have just kind of worked through someone reading through the screenplay before they made it and asked, does this flow and make sense? But I think sometimes once you get into filming a movie and it's a little more low budget, you don't have the time to turn around and think otherwise, whether it makes sense or not.
Right.
So it's out there. I don't think it's a must watch for anybody, but I don't know. If you're looking at making your own film one day, this might be a good movie to watch to kind of see how you could do something with a different plot line, but maybe smooth it out a little bit more. It's available on Amazon, Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, and Microsoft Store if anyone is interested. Oh my God. But it was better than this boring fucking film, How Theme Park Workers Live. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know. Do you want to talk about it first?
yep, I'll bring it in.
Okay.
So we're talking about Haunt Season. It's got an 81-minute runtime. Tagline is Enter if you dare. A masked maniac targets cast members at a suburban Halloween haunt attraction, turning their staged injuries into gruesome real-life horrors. As the terror escalates, the line between performance and reality blur. Yeah, this was about 81-minute runtime. I'd say it felt like about 50 minutes of movie and half hour of montages of how these haunt actors party afterwards and walk through streets and do all this other stupid shit that was
And
unnecessary.
have conversations about patriarchy and misogyny. And like I am all about fuck the patriarchy, fuck misogyny, fuck that. And even I was like, can we please just fucking move on and get back to the haunt? I
Yeah,
found the dialogue painfully boring.
the dialogue was just awful. The I guess you'd say reveal at the end was I could care less at that point. The kills were nothing to write home about. It was just kind of had almost like sepia tone to the whole entire film, so it just had like this like yellowish quality to the picture, and I don't know if that was to kind of make it look like an older grindhousey style or what, but
Oh, I don't know. I thought it's
it
because
just
they didn't have any money and they couldn't get a good camera.
yeah, I was gonna say it was just like it felt like an ugly filter they put on that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't care about like the backstage shenanigans of these haunt characters. Like that sounds like
No.
it'd be a fun concept for a horror film, but they don't make it fun at all. And it just feels and just once again for 81 minutes it felt like it was dragging on and then adding in the dumbass montages for some freaking reason, which well, let's be honest, it was filler to make it a full length movie. That's why they
And
added it.
and look, say what you will about the Mousetrap, but that was a better, more entertaining film than this movie. At
Yeah, I
least
will
there
give
were
you that.
kills in the Mousetrap,
Oh,
and it moved. You didn't get background that didn't matter.
well, there was kills in this movie. They just weren't
Mm-mm.
memorable.
No, and like at least in the Mousetrap, they used the arcade effectively,
Right.
right? Like this was just, ugh. I said to Scott, I'm like, I hate watching it at this point because
Yep,
I
that's
just want to finish it because I like haunts and I want to see more of the haunt. But it's like, ugh, watch Haunt. That's a much superior, better film about haunts. Even Mickey's barking away, and it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, mama,
yeah, I was
fuck
because
that
even
movie.
Erica and I were both hate watching it by the end. We're just like, oh,
Ugh.
get this over with.
Like it was so boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to talk. I don't know. It's available on all the streaming services to rent it. I'm not. I don't recommend this shit at all. I really found that it was really, really boring. There's not one person I would recommend it to. Sorry to the person that wrote this. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
There's and that's sad when Scott and I will rent it on YouTube if you really want to support them. All right, last couple ones that we're going to talk about is Big Man. So, Shutter probably saw this and was like, "Oh no, we learned our lesson from earlier this year. It's okay."
Oh no.
He's always closer than you think. For centuries and across cultures, parents have warned their children of the legendary Bagman. I don't think that's a thing. Who snatches innocent children and stuffs them into his vile, rotting bag, never to be seen again.
Oh good God.
Badger McGee narrowly escaped such an encounter as a boy, which left him with lasting scars throughout his adulthood. Now,
Wait,
Patrick's childhood.
did you just say Badger McGee?
Patrick McGee.
Oh, I was gonna say Badger McGee. What the fuck type of name
No,
is that?
no, Patrick, sorry. Which left him with lasting scars throughout his adulthood. Now, Patrick's childhood tormentor has returned. and is threatening the life of his wife, Katrina, and son, Jake. You've seen any movie about someone with a bag on their head, like Baghead. You've seen Bagman. It's like they were going to call this Baghead, and they were like, oh, fuck.
Can't do that now.
Awkward. Let's call it Bagman. Yeah. Bagman. Now, it's a different plot line, but the same kind of thing. It was an easy enough watch to put on and watch. I will say that it was simple. I didn't have to worry about doing a lot of thinking. That was great. But is this something that I would say to people? Make sure you go out and you watch Bagman. No, it's not. It's a 92-minute runtime. Let's see if anyone else has watched it. No one, just me. So that's
wow.
great. It's all good. Tim, you don't need to watch Bagman unless you're really trying to pad your numbers and you want to watch Bagman. But we've seen this before. Four-core done not well. Basically, evil creature comes, steals children, ultimate sacrifice made, end of film. Summed it up for everybody. We can all skip over Bagman. But for some reason,
Good to know.
you really liked Baghead and you like these kind of movies. It is available on Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Video, Cineplex, and YouTube. If you like that folk horror and the idea of kids being stolen all the time. Now Scott is going to list through a bunch of movies shortly that he doesn't remember. So that tells you how good they all were. But I will finish off with another Netflix movie that is actually pretty decent. Don't Move. You can run, but you can't. You can hide, but you can't run. A grieving woman in a secluded forest encounters a killer who injects her with a paralytic drug. As her body shuts down, her fight for survival begins. This is a very interesting survival film. It is very similar setup to other films we have seen before in terms of a survival movie, but I would argue that the characters' decisions made in this movie makes a lot more sense. There's a more realistic conversation that occurs with a police officer. I would say Finn Witterock, who plays the antagonist, is quite good. I think this movie moves quick. I think it's a good little survival film. I did enjoy it. I thought it flowed well. I thought it was a different enough concept. It took a concept and it kind of molded it a little bit to make it a little more entertaining. This is a 3.5 star from Tim Davis, a 3.5 star from Kate Pollock, and a 3.5 star from Duncan McLeish. I gotta agree with them. Netflix, you fucking brought it. This is a decent movie that you picked up that was entertaining, quick, was in the 92-minute runtime, and a great little survival flick. You got Netflix. I recommend checking out this film.
All right, awesome. Good to know. And so it sounds like I got some Netflix watches to do.
Yeah, definitely. Netflix has actually brought it this time.
Good to hear. All right. So, yeah, like Heather said, I got a list of movies. I'm not even going to read their synopsis. I'm just going to kind of list them off quickly because we've been at this for a while now, too. And these ones, I literally, even reading the synopsis, cannot remember a damn thing about.
That's hilarious.
So it's either that when they're like that, that means they're 2.5 out of 5 stars for me. Like right in the middle of the road, very forgettable, nothing horrible, nothing great. So, yep, the movies are Spin the Bottle, All Hallows Eve Inferno. I think that's like.
I watched Spin the Bottle too, I think. Yeah, it sucked. I turned it off.
Yeah, I was like, because I think you told me you turned it off.
Yeah.
You Shall Not Sleep Tonight. All I remember is that was an anthology. Couldn't remember the stories. Underground. Yeah, I think that was found footage. And then Name the Demon, which I also think was found footage. But yeah, I, for the life of me, cannot remember a goddamn thing about them. So, in my personal opinion, those are ones that no one needs to worry about watching.
What is your watch right now? Like, what are you at on Letterboxd for this year?
I am at 102.
Oh, I'm at 147.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have blown past me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy if I make it to 125, 130, which is roughly where I said I wanted to be by the end.
Well, I'll be real. As we hit November here, it's slowing down. There's a couple of theatrical watches I do want to see. Terrifier 3, one of them. Nosferatu.
Yeah, Smile 2, I definitely want to see.
Right. So there will be and who knows what Shudder will drop between now and then. But I definitely think it is slowing down. I imagine I'll be probably around the 155, 160 mark by the time we finish off this year. And that's fine. I think that's enough to have an opinion. I think even over 100's a lot to have an opinion, to be honest with you. In terms of older watches, or other watches as I put here, I finally got to watch The Boys in the Trees.
I'll be right back.
I'll talk about Boys in the Trees while you're gone.
Okay.
So this is actually a pretty epic film because it's a film that Scott and I have really tried to watch that is really hard to find here in North America. You either have to spend a ridiculous amount of money on a Blu-ray for it or not watch it. So I was thrilled when I opened up my laptop when I was in England. And of course, I was able to get the Shutter for the UK. And I saw The Boys in the Trees was there. So I watched it, and I watched it with my friend Mark, who I kind of talked about before, that he watched the VHS film with me, and he also watched this one. I had told him that this was a film that I had been searching for a long time. It's an Australian film. And he's like, well, this is really British sounding. I'm like, I know, but it's Australian because obviously they were once a British colony. And I will say I really did enjoy it. I'm glad I watched it. It was a heavier film than what I was prepared for. It definitely had slower parts in it and really builds on the relationship between the two young people in it. It's definitely a film that I do recommend. And I think if you have the opportunity to get your hands on it, whether it's through Shutter, which hopefully it will be released here in Canada, the United States, North America on Shutter, it's definitely worth it. But it is very dark. And I know Mark had a similar sentiment to this. It is very much based on character development, and he also found the ending kind of depressing, like I did too. The ending, though not a surprise as you move through the movie, is quite sad. It's quite fucking sad, actually. And I did enjoy the kind of social message behind it, but it was not what I suspected. But I will say this is a watch if you can locate it. I was just saying, Scott, that this movie was a lot sadder than I intended. Both Mark and I found it quite depressing, the ending.
Oh, okay.
But it's well done. The acting's good. The relationship between the two boys is strong. And I will say that if somehow we get it in North America, I would recommend you and Erica watch it. It is definitely a good film.
Yeah, because I think it's the only place I'd seen it available was iTunes, and I don't have an iTunes account anymore. So
Yeah, I would wait. I'm hoping eventually Shutter picks it up. I was just lucky that I was in the UK and the UK Shutter had it, so I was able to watch it. And it was a long goal, and I think also it didn't help that I kind of built myself up to watch this movie. Like I was like, oh my god, The Boys in the Trees, right? Like here's my chance. And I got why they called it The Boys in the Trees. As I said, it's a very emotional film. But a very well done film. So I do recommend it to other people. Do you have an older watch or an other watch or whatever that you want to add?
I was just looking to double check, and it's one that I cannot remember as well, and called Dead Body.
Ha!
And basically throughout October, I was just watching stuff I've seen before.
That is fair. Well, I will pop
And
into.
I don't have
sorry,
and I was gonna
a
say,
book.
I do not have a book because I've slowed down on reading because of I've been taking walks at work now, and that's cut into how much reading I was doing when I read a physical book. And I've been listening to 31 Days of Horror with Tim through his podcast every single day, so it slowed down on my audiobook listening to. So I didn't get a chance to finish 2 of the books I'm in the middle of. But by the time I record next time, I should have 1 or 2 books to talk about.
I was actually going to ask you about books after we went over the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, so that's good to know. So the only other thing we will talk about before Scott skips off to his Halloween party is the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. So I am a big fan of the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. I watch them every year. Have you watched them, Scott, over the years?
I watched, I think it was last year's or the year before. And I think that was about the only time I've watched it.
Okay. I vote and I follow. I'm a big fan. So this award show was great because I'm going to give a spoiler. David Duchovny won for his performance in Late Night with the Devil, which is
nice,
definitely well deserved. Skinamarink won for Best New Director. which Scott and I have our opinions on that film, but it is what it is. And I will say that they had a variety of films that were nominated this year. Infested, for example, was nominated for Creature Feature, which I was
Nice.
quite happy to see. I think it deserved that nomination. I saw movies that were nominated that were not just low-hanging fruit. Like
Right.
the year that the Black Phone won everything, I was kind of like, there were other films that were better than the Black
Right.
Phone, right? But this, I will say, I was really happy to see that there were a variety of films that were brought to it. Like, was it Blackish? That was the comedy, was
Oh yeah.
nominated for a comedy. And I believe that director won for, I think it was like first time directing like a musical or a comedy or something, a horror comedy or something like that. Like it was something, or screenplay writing or something like that. Because it was the same screenplay. He wrote it and also directed it. The only criticism I have of the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards is please stop doing the cheesy themes with it. The theme this year was found footage, and you have a couple of presenters that are actors and they can roll with it, or directors and they can roll with it, and they do get some pretty well-known people. Shouts out to the Godzilla -1 movie. They actually sent in a video in Japanese thanking for an award that they won and
Nice.
had it translated. But the whole cheesy shit that they do, please cut that out for next year. Like, just give us the fucking awards. Just go through the awards and maybe talk about the films. There was a little bit of that they did, which I really appreciated, but some of it was a little hyper cheese. So if
Fair.
you watch at your own risk, but I will say it was nice to see international films getting shouts out. It was nice to see films that were not just low-hanging theater watch films being presented. I do believe Don't Speak was up. The original was up for an award as well. I think it was on
Oh,
for
okay.
international film. Like, that's what I'm saying. It was stuff like that that was really, really good quality. So it's on Shudder. It's an hour and a half. Fast forward through some of the cheesy shit. The awards are worth it. I did really enjoy it. And I guess that's a wrap on episode 100.
Yeah, it was a meaty episode. I mean, it's going
I
on
know.
over 2 hours, so we had a lot of movies to talk about. Hence why we decided to push back the special thing that we were going to do till later. Because yeah, we had a lot to talk
We did
about.
have a lot. We'll try to do at least 3 or 4 more shows, more episodes before the end of the year. Depending on what we watch, we'll see how busy we are. And probably when we get to a reasonable list, we'll record so it's not a 2-hour extravaganza. Though this used to be what we do. We used to do fucking 3-hour, 3.5-hour shows. It's got
Oh
our
yeah.
now like, we don't have time for that shit. We get in
Nope.
and out. This is a committed relationship now with us horror fans. In and out. We're banging with our shirts on, people. We're not even taking that off. We're just getting it done and leaving.
Oh,
So
great.
thank you. It's kind of not wrong, right?
No, you're not.
So Scotty is off to his Halloween party tonight. I am off to a friend's place. But we will continue to watch the horror and the good times and see what else comes out and joins us in 2025. For the love of God, Blumhouse, stop making shitty films come 2025. Please, for the love of God, like, please don't do it anymore. We are proud members of the Legion Podcast Network. They have a Patreon that has a bunch of cool shit on it. They have giveaways and special episodes, and they support Scott and I, and they put us on YouTube, and we could not do this without them. So if you are not a member of Legion Patreon after fucking 100 episodes, what do you have to say to the people, Scott? It's been 100 episodes, and if you're not a member of the Legion Podcast Network,
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Join us.
join us, motherfuckers, and support Legion. They support all the little underdog shows like we were at one time. We were just little Heather and Scotty scared to talk horror movies, and now we're just coming in and sharing our unsolicited opinions with everybody. So thank you to Legion. Thank you to all our friends in the podcasting community that have supported Scott and I from the beginning, that have encouraged us, that have been kind to us. It means more than you realize. And I'm so grateful that we've met so many awesome people. really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's been amazing. Love the fact that we've been able to do this for so long. Love the fact that we actually hit this huge of a milestone. The
Huge.
fact that people listen to us and support us. And yeah, like everything Heather said and all the friends we made, it's been a journey. All of our lives have changed in the many years that we've been doing this, and it's just incredible to be able to continue doing this, even if it has slowed down a bit. But yeah,
And
so
many a Scream movies have been made.
yes.
And for the love of God, stop making Scream movies as well. Scream movies and fucking shitty AI films. Can we please stop?
I'm begging you.
And if we get a horror movie about a hot tub next year from Blumhouse, I'm out. I'm out. That's it, Blumhouse. You have a fucking haunted hot tub or sauna, I'm done. I'm done. No more.
Oh, yeah, thank you all. And yeah, I guess we can just wrap this up because I got to get ready to go.
Yeah, look,
But,
here comes Erica with her sexy outfit on. Oh,
here she,
man.
yeah.
Wow. Booty shorts, girl.
She's like,
Oh, she heard me.
yeah, she heard you.
Oh, she knows. All right, Scott's got to leave with his sexy fiance. You know,
Yeah,
Scott,
right.
you're not going to look as good as her. That's that's how it always
not.
is.
I can't compete with how good she looks. There's
No,
no
it's
way.
true. It's true. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time. Anything you have to say to the good people, Scotty?
Yeah, just once again, thank you all for listening and supporting us, and until next time, kiddies, unpleasant dreams.
See ya.